Hey there, my name is Marley. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm very excited because I'm going to be starting my reading vlog where I'm going to be reading Aristotle and Dante, Dive into the Waters of the World. I think I said that right, by Benjamin Alir Sayans. This is going to be a spoiler-filled reading vlog and review, so please keep that in mind as you continue watching. But I'm very excited. This is one of my most highly anticipated releases of the year. I read the first book, which is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, just last year, and it was one of my favorite books. I read it just in one sitting, one night. I loved it so much. So I was thrilled to hear that it was coming out with a sequel the year after I read it. So I probably should have reread the first one before this, but oh well, we're just diving in. Get it? So, as some people may know, the first book follows these two teenage boys named Aristotle and Dante. I believe they are both Mexican American in the 80s, and it is basically a love story as well as a story of coming of age, realizing your identity, figuring out who you are, all those typical kind of teenage things. Little spoiler alert, at the end of the book, Aristotle and Dante do get together. It is a romance at the end of the day. Most of it does focus on Aristotle as he's the actual main character and the point of view character, and he's the one who struggles with his sexuality more. But yeah, it was just a really beautiful story, and I'm really excited to get into the second one and see what other issues they face, but also what other really cute and adorable moments they have. I did start it last night because I just wanted to have started it. I only read a few pages. I'm not far at all, but already I was like getting all those feels again because I just love them, and the writing is so beautiful. I'm gonna fly through this, I'm sure. And I just love the dynamic between the two of them, as Aristotle is literally the grumpy one and Dante is the sunshine one. They are the epitome of that trope, and I love it. I'm literally on chapter 3, but in chapter 2 he says, I would always be the guy that would say too little, and Dante was the kind of guy who would always say too much. I love that. I love couples like that. Yeah, this is just gonna be my vlog, reading this over the next couple days, or maybe it'll take me one day again. We'll see. While you're here, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and let's get into the vlog. Got a vibe. Baby, are you coming for the ride? So I just read the first part of the book. It actually is separated into parts. So the first part is like 100 pages. Not a lot to talk about in this book, as it is a contemporary and it's just sort of like following their lives compared to As Good as Dead, which is the book I vlogged before this, which was like crazy. But yeah, basically it picks right back up from where the first book ends, and we're just seeing Ari and Dante being in a relationship, experiencing first love, which I feel like is really taking me back to like my own personal experience, but like it's very much a first love, like teenage love story. So I feel a little bit like removed from that. It's not really relevant to my current life, I guess, but it's still very beautiful to read, even though it is a little bit cheesy as well, because you know, I'm older, I'm 25, and love isn't always perfect. But anyways, it's still cute to read, but I do feel like, okay, this is more for like teenagers, but still really loving Ari and his character development. He was always so closed off and so quiet, giving that Scorpio energy. Now he's definitely opening up more, speaking more with his mom and his dad and even his siblings, and that is something I can relate to as well. I do remember having my first relationship, and then that kind of gives you like more confidence. Yeah, I just still do really like hearing from him and having him as our point of view character. And the parents in this book, like the parents of both Aristotle and Dante, are just so great. Like they're such good parents that it is kind of refreshing to see, because that's such an easy thing to do, is make characters' parents be bad parents to create drama. drama, but they're actually not doing that. So it's actually nice to see a very healthy home life for both of these boys and see that they are accepted, at least in their personal lives, even if the world does not accept them yet, as this is taking place during like the AIDS pandemic and stuff like that. So, you know, they're both, mostly Ari is, you know, feeling upset about that, just knowing he'll never get to have a normal life and all this stuff. But we haven't delved into that too much yet. They're just kind of in their like happy honeymoon phase still. They are going camping. We just had a scene of them like kissing and it kind of like faded to black, so I don't know if they had sex or not. It's one of those things in YA where I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it happened or not. That's where I left off, so maybe it'll be more clear on the next page, but they're definitely gonna do it. As much as teenage sex makes me uncomfortable because I feel like they're just so young sometimes, they're two teenage boys that are attracted to each other alone camping. Like, it's gonna happen, so good for them. But yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for there to be more drama. Like, not that I want these two to have drama, like I want them to be happy because I love them, but I'm like, okay, when are we gonna get more drama? So we'll see when that comes in, if it does. But I am enjoying seeing them happy, and it is still a very beautiful book. It's Friday. So I read another 100 pages of the book. The boys did do it, if you guys wanted to know. So yeah, they had a nice camping trip. Now they've been back. Ari is starting to come out to more people, which is really nice. He came out to this girl Cassandra, who he hated, who I don't remember her from the first book if she was in there, but I was glad to see that and see Ari like hanging out with different people that wasn't just Dante, because I know it's very easy to just like get obsessed with your boyfriend or girlfriend and like not really focus on your friendships. And so I thought that was good. And then he also reconnected with some of his other friends who he kind of has mistreated in the past, and he opened up to them and came out to them as well. I'm glad to see that they're focusing on some other relationships and not just the romance in this book. However, so I decided to just go on Goodreads and I look up some reviews. Even though I'm only partway through, I was just sort of curious what people were saying, and I was not aware of the controversy with this author. And as I said, it's been a while since I read the first one, and I read it so quick that I don't remember this, but apparently there was a lot of biphobia and transphobia in the first book, and people are complaining that that continues in the second book. I feel like in the first 200 pages, I haven't really picked up on that, but that is something I'm going to keep an eye out for, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts. I'm not really going to be the best person to speak on that, but I'll just let you know my opinion if I notice any of that. But yeah, so far I didn't pick up on anything. This does take place in the 80s, however, which I've mentioned, so I think that could be a potential reason for those things if they were just trying to demonstrate like the times that was what it was like back then. However, I could see like that stuff could definitely be harmful as well, especially if it's like youth reading this book, especially like queer youth. So yeah, I was definitely disappointed to see that, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for it. But the only other thing I would say is sometimes I'm like, this is like super cheesy. Like, as I think I said in the last update, I'm kind of waiting for more drama because I'm like, this is just so like perfect, like everything is going so great, all the parents are just so loving and they get along with the son so well, and now the friends all know they're gay and they are all happy, and I'm like, this is nice, I guess, but I kind of am waiting for the drama still. And yeah, I'm just kind of feeling like it's like an unnecessary sequel as well, which makes sense. It's coming out years later, like it probably is not necessary. But yeah, I kind of don't want it to just keep being so like cheesy. But I still do like the contrast between Aristotle and Dante. Aristotle is like the philosophical one, and then Dante is like the artsy, poetic one, which goes with their names. So I like that little metaphor, even though it's a very in-your-face metaphor. Gonna go grocery shopping now. So I've been really bad about vlogging. Sorry about that. But we had dinner and I watched Survivor. Oh my gosh, this week's episode was so intense. I was freaking out. At some points I was so angry and sad. I was like, no, they're being so dumb. And then I got so happy because I was like, oh, they're actually super smart, and there was like a twist. Anyways, I got to now 300 pages into the book. Something that I've been finding throughout the whole book that I keep forgetting to mention is I do sometimes find with the writing that I will not be sure who is talking, because with the dialogue and the conversations, it'll just be like quote, 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 and then I'll kind of get lost in it and I'll forget like who is who. Like say it's Ari and Dante, and I'll just have to look back at the beginning of the conversation to see like where it started and like who is speaking each line. And that happens between those two characters and other characters, and that would be like one of the things I don't like, because just add a couple like Ari said or something in there so I can like remember like who's saying which part. But yeah, school has now started, so Ari and Dante are not spending as much time together, which I do like, because as I said, I like that he's having other friends and other experiences. But I do find a part of myself is like, okay, let's put Dante back in this a little bit more. Like, this is Aristotle and Dante in the title, but I guess it's fine. But there are a couple things at school happening that are very like, I don't know, I guess it's just because it's a YA. When they do any sort of social commentary thing or tackle any sort of like social issues, or like one of the teachers was being racist and the students were like calling her out, it's just like very in your face and almost like cheesy. So that's the other thing I'm like, oh, but I guess it's a YA, so like sometimes things have to be like spelled out for them a little more, I guess. I did also read the scene that I think a lot of people aren't liking, where they were just really talking about like gender in a very binary way. So I do feel like that, like I understand why people could maybe not like that, but as I said before, I feel like it is just kind of a reflection of the time that this takes place in, which is the 80s. So I haven't noticed anything too problematic myself, but check out other reviews obviously. Another thing I like, Aristotle and Dante, as I said, they are like sexually active, but they don't have sex in their parents' house to be respectful. And so I really do like that. And I like that that's being put in a YA book so teenagers can see that and have that be an example to obviously be respectful to their parents. It is now Saturday afternoon. I just cleaned my apartment and I didn't film any b-roll, whoops. And if I listened to audiobooks, I probably would have finished the book by now, but I don't, so I just listened to music while I cleaned. But I did read another 100 pages of this last night, and you know, I was asking for the drama. Gotta be careful what you ask for, because this last section was really upsetting. First of all, Ari goes to visit his brother in jail, which I had kind of forgotten why the brother was in jail, but it's because he killed a trans woman. Yeah, he's pretty evil. So Ari just felt like he wanted to visit him, even though it's such an upsetting thing. Like, his parents have gotten past it, like he's not a part of their life anymore, obviously, and they don't visit him or anything, but he just needed to like see his brother for the first time in like years. So they take him there, and immediately this guy is like super evil and is being so rude to Ari, and then Ari actually tells him that he's gay, and yeah, the brother continues to just be very, very cruel to Ari. And then, but it helped him, like he was happy he went, because he's like, okay, now I don't have to wonder about my brother, like I know he's like dead to me. Then, oh, speaking of being dead, so then Aristotle's dad has a heart attack and literally dies in his arms. So yeah, most of the book, things were like really happy, things were really going well, and then just like that, like tragedy. And it's just really upsetting. Ari and his dad were finally like getting along and really bonding. And I mean, it's good that they had those moments before he passed, but yeah, now it's very upsetting, and they're dealing with this grief, and you know, all of his loved ones are being super great, but obviously this is gonna be very hard for him. And yeah, so now I'm just in the home stretch. I have a couple things I need to do for like my schoolwork, and then I'm gonna probably just read the rest of the day and finish this up. It shouldn't take too long. That's my day. The book. It was a great time for the most part. So there actually is some angsty stuff at the end, which I enjoyed. I kind of wish there was more of that throughout, but we dealt with sort of a classic trope in YA romances as Ari and Dante graduated high school. So we had some happy moments with that. But then obviously they're going to be going off to college in the next year. So I did appreciate that there was never any conversations around choosing universities or colleges based on being together, which we've seen recently in To All the Boys I Loved Before, in the kissing booth. I like that they knew that they were going to go to the colleges they wanted, and there was never any discussions of like doing things for each other. They were really just focused on themselves. But of course then Dante gets accepted into this like early summer program. Who is this? Gabriela Montez over here. But he doesn't want to go because he wants to spend the final summer with Ari, and Ari says no, like you should go, this is an amazing opportunity, amazing program. And then Dante gets all pissed off because he's like, don't you want to spend time with me? Of course he doesn't realize that Ari's saying that because he really loves him. So anyways, there's some angst there. Dante is very dramatic. They end up having like a little moment before Dante leaves, but then Ari puts together this super romantic thing where he goes to Paris basically to show his love to Dante, I guess, and that is like the final scene of them like kissing in this museum, and it's very romantic in Paris. So I think that just insinuates that they are gonna try to stay together for a little bit longer, or they just wanted to have this like final nice moment before they go their own way. It is a little bit bittersweet, like they're both very aware that like they aren't really going to be staying together forever, which is obviously always like sad, but it's like realistic for a high school romance. But on that note of them being so self-aware, like I feel like they were like really mature in a lot of ways and talked in a way that was like not realistic for a teenager. Like it reminded me of like John Green or something, where the characters are so like introspective and deep or something, and it's like that's not really realistic to teenagers. Or something even like Dawson's Creek, like how they talk in that, and where it's just like this is not how teenagers talk. So there definitely was a bit of that in here, but overall I still liked it. I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star for this. So technically it was a slight disappointment just because I gave the first book an easy 5-star, and I hoped that this would be the same. But I don't know if it's the book or if it's just like I'm in a different place or something, but I just don't feel like it was as good as the first book. And I feel like a part of that could just be me and the fact that I love the build-up in a romance. I love the part where the couple's not together yet and they're having their initial bonding, and like there's that tension before they get together. So that's kind of a me thing. Obviously this book didn't have that because they were happily together for most of it. I liked the angsty parts that there were, but there wasn't a ton of it. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Still highly recommend it. Still think that Benjamin has a really beautiful writing style, but just not as good as the first one. And that will conclude this vlog. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought of the book, if it lived up to the hype or not, what you rated it. Speaking of ratings, add me on Goodreads to see what I rate all my books. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.